Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to this Tuesday thing. There was like one match scheduled like for the show before the thing started. Yeah, it's a thing. We watch. They give us things to
Thank
look
you
at.
so
We
much
talk
for
about them.
tuning
It's
into
a
your
deal,
NXT post show for May 30th, as we are almost at the halfway point of the years. Guys, get into your super chats and your humper chats at humperchats.com. Please leave a thumbs up on this video. We appreciate it. It helps us out in the algorithm more than you even realize. And what a time to subscribe to Fightful Select. Some scoopskis coming out of Double or Nothing. Some scoopskis coming out of Night of Champions. Lots going on. Plenty more coming up this summer. That is for sure. Some details on Jade Cargill and Chris Statlander and all sorts of stuff. All right. You're going to want to go over to Fightful Select because you're going to want not only all the scoops, but like if you can't get enough of me and Alex, all right? If you can't get enough of this gimmick.
I mean, and honestly, who could?
Who could, really? FightfulSelect.com is where you have 400 episodes now of the Fightful Select Sour Graps post show. And we also do pay-per-view post shows back there if you are looking for something a little different than the main channel. But we were busy there this weekend. That is for sure. We had your Night of Champions and your Double or Nothing post shows back there. We also did a quick beat the clock one on the main for Battleground, which we're going to talk about the fallout of tonight. That is the end of me pretending to be the host. Alex, you steer the ship now. I'm done.
We're both so tired. Kate, I went out today because it was a very special episode of Sour Graps last night. It was the 400th episode of Sour Graps on Select. This is not including whatever we do here on Tuesdays. So I went out because I did not have this with me last night. I went out to celebrate, figuring tonight would be another very sour episode. And I said I need to have with me the official beverage of Sour Graps, which is store brand lemonade in the jug. That is what I drank, I think, for the first 100 episodes of Sour Graps. I would just chug a whole one of these things. And it turned out to be not as sour as we thought. So there you go.
Yeah, good. Tonight's episode wasn't bad, and the pay-per-view was pretty good too, honestly. I think I liked it better than Double or Nothing, which is certainly not what I thought we'd be saying. But True. I just want to say that as someone who was definitely there for all 400 episodes and didn't come in 3/4 of the way through or anything like that, it's been a pleasure for the past 5 years to have been serving you guys in this way. I was definitely the one that started this and built it all. And, when I invited Alex in, I thought it would be a good idea.
It was all your idea. You were working behind the scenes as just a producer.
Yes, exactly.
The whole time. You were like the money man who was funding the whole thing. And then you demanded, then you demanded an on-screen role.
I did.
And said that you were going to shut down the whole thing effective yesterday if I did not make you co-host. And I was like, Jesus, okay, we'll see how that works. But
sometimes you gotta. It's called betting on yourself, Alex. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I've heard.
Pretty much everybody that does a wrestling promo says it at some point.
Got to bet on yourself.
That's right.
Got to pull it all on black. I mean, I'll put it all on white, and then that's what you got to do. You got to do it. So hey, send in your super chats and your humper chats. If you have a favorite memory of the Sour Graps thing, send it in. Why not? It could be a lot of fun. We've had some craziness. By the way, last night we found out just out of nowhere, apparently, Linda had a torrid love affair with Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah.
And Gordon Lightfoot was into some kinky stuff.
To some stuff for sure.
We found that out of the blue.
We did.
It's a thing that you obviously all wrestling conversations lead to Gordon Lightfoot's penchant for ass play. Like all avenues lead there. So
On a
if you're not
wrestling
watching
review
our
show?
shows,
Of
if you're not
course.
watching our shows, you don't even know what's going on.
I'm on the show, and half the time I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for it,
Right.
and we
Right.
have fun. So
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm you know what? Well, I don't know what I don't know what's a good pun category, Kate.
I feel like people should send in their favorite memories and bits, and then if we stumble into a pun,
Yeah, there you go.
That'll
be good.
We'll rock
That'll
that
be
gimmick.
good. That'll be good. We started out with the weaponized cage match, which I think was the only thing that we knew we were getting coming into tonight.
It was the only match that we knew we were getting. Yeah, we knew about the Tiffybration and all sorts of things like that. But the only match that we were aware of was this weaponized steel cage match. We knew it was going to open the show, which of course. But I was really happy that they gave this like 20 minutes and that they let it feel. You and I have been saying the whole time, like, it felt like this was supposed to be so heated. We never really got a blow off, and the pacing of it just didn't really feel right. Considering how like visceral the feud was supposed to feel, and this definitely helped it. Like I think 20-minute weaponized cage match feels like the blow off it probably deserved. Just kind of beg why wasn't it on the pay-per-view, but I don't hate them doing it here. Good thing to open the show with. And I'm glad they gave it a lot of time in. Like I am I'm really high on Gigi Dolin, especially. I think she's gonna go on to do some really great things. Jacy Jayne's great too, but like I feel like Gigi's got that thing.
Yeah. I think that Jacy is unfortunately the victim of being the
in NXT.
Well, that too overall, but just being that the creative doesn't have any ideas for how to write a woman heel that's not, it's all about me. She's literally the third woman in 2 weeks to cut a promo where that exact line was said.
Oof.
Like, like they're all subtly different. I mean, there's obviously different things about them, but at their core, they believe they are the center of the universe. One of them, actually, that's her like nickname, the center of the universe, Tiffany Stratton. But all of them believe that they should be treated as though they are the most important thing in all of NXT. That is their center of who they are as a heel. And you have 3 of them in the same women's division, and I feel like that's just overkill.
And with Jacy Jayne, like, it wasn't about her. That was the thing. Was like it was about, like, she went after Gigi's brother and stuff. Like, it shouldn't have been about her. It should have been how much she hated Gigi.
Well, no, she said that, yeah, but it's all about me because everybody likes Gigi more than me. It should be all about me. You should all like me more than her. By the way, was there a third woman involved in here? Because they're doing this whole history of toxic attraction and conveniently, like, Mandy Rose is 2 feet off screen.
Persona non grata.
Yeah, not involved. Oof. But yeah. It's there we go. So we'll talk more about that, but I wanted to get into this thing. Because JW Pringle, the Pringled one. Amazing Alex, Killer Kate, all the SGS. Today I do my best proud Papa Elizabeth impression with my son graduating high school. Oh. Y'all have lifted me up in the downtime. Now celebrate with me in the amazing times. I love you all. That is awesome.
Congrats to you and congrats to him.
Congrats to you and congrats.
You get a teenager through high school.
Congrats to little Pisher, but congrats to you as a father of someone who just graduated from kindergarten. I can't imagine the next decade going any better than this. So it's got to be a very hard thing to do to get them all the way through there with no, missing limbs. I mean, I'm assuming, but like. I'm in awe of your abilities as a father. Just anybody who's able to do all that all the way through there, because I feel like there's a ripcord. If there was a ripcord, I'd pull it like 3 times a day. But I don't have one, so I can't bail out. It's just too bad.
So would Jamie Hayter.
Mm.
Get it? She uses it.
Yeah.
And Rhea Ripley.
But yeah, awesome. That's so awesome.
That rules. Congratulations to him and to you.
And Jake Salazar says, congratulations, Sir J.W. Pringle. I know you are a proud father. Us here at SGS are also proud of J.W. Pringle Jr. And Paul Elizabeth says, congrats, Sir Pringle, on your latest milestone. So everyone...
And congrats to my dad being the grandfather in the situation. Obviously, as J.W. Pringle and I are extremely real-life brothers.
Well, obviously, J.W. Pringle Jr. takes after his grandfather because he knows that that's the greatest generation to emulate. Feeling Dreepy says, you look fabulous today, and you look good too, Kate.
Oh, thank you so much. Alex always... Like, I don't ever want to take anything away from Alex, but he's the eye candy here, and I bring the brilliant wrestling analysis.
Jake Salazar says, fellow friends, Alex celebrated his 400-day reign as SGS Undisputed Sour Versal Heavyweight Champion. Please acknowledge your Sour Chief.
You the one. Super kick. Super kick. It should still be Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn should be the champion of Sour Graps.
No, he's the Ginger Chief. As soon as we can get him in there, he's the Ginger Chief. Michael Dammit says, hair looking good, Kate. I mean, it always does. Tonight is Chef's Kiss.
Thank you. I just got it done today.
And Kim Gray says, Kate looking pretty and purple.
Thank you so much.
Jambeard says, I guess I got a hand in my wrestling fan cards. I'm not a fan of mustacheless Alex's evil twin, according to Billy Corgan.
The Pumpkin Man. Out there having a bad time.
I do love a, if you don't like blank, you're not a wrestling fan. Well, guess that means I don't have to keep watching.
Not a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
It's so dorky. Like if
It's so dorky.
Oh, you don't like Lord of the Rings? Guess you hate movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stupid.
Mm-hmm. Paul Elizabeth
Their champion is the worst, like by far, not even close, the worst TV champion of any promotion. I would rather watch Dominic have a feud with Parker than I would watch Tyrus wrestle. Wow. Tyrus is awful. And it's holding back what is an otherwise decent roster at NWA, and nobody wants to watch it. Pumpkin Man sucks. Do you know how hard it is to get me to not watch wrestling? Me. Do you know what? I am watching AJPW, okay? I'm watching the 4 Pillars of Heaven because the 4 Pillars thing at AEW, I found out about this, so now I have to go watch it.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I'm looking up Zack Sabre Jr. and Tyler Bate matches from 2017. That is how the rabbit hole I am. To not watch TV that is actively wrestling TV that's actively available to me, your product has to be pretty bad.
Yeah. True.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
This episode of NXT was not that bad, so I thought I would air my grievances on that and get sour instead. Feels like when we're happy on here.
The Ginger Chief. LOL as a ginger, that popped me. Paul Elizabeth says, greetings, Team Kalex, the Council, the Sisters, Alpha Bill, Hair Normus, the Jake the Sour, Supermod Luis, and the Superstar Super Chats, Mr. JB Pringle.
Hi,
Dad. Jester Designs says, 2-for-1 chat. First, I'm glad someone repping Boston, Massachusetts is getting W's this week. Wish I would have been able to make it to Battleground. And secondly, Sean, give me more Jakara Jackson, please, and thank you. Well, more would be some, because this is the first time she's really appearing on television. Her next match on NXT will be her first match on NXT. So yes, more. More is better than more is not none. So
that is true.
Jim Beard says, Kate looking like a top tier babe tonight.
Thank you. A top tier one.
Top tier.
Keep sending in chats because this was expensive to get done today, you know?
Oh my God, the inflation. It's just so terrible.
It is.
It's just so terrible.
Plus, she does a really good job, so you want to give her a good tip.
I used to be able to go get a shampoo and a curl for like 25 cents. I'd have enough to go to the picture show afterwards. But I'd always
carry a quarter in your shoe and get your hair done. It was incredible.
I'd always tip at least 20%, which of course was
5 cents.
5 cents. So which would break the bank in those days.
You could either dial down the center, or you could get your hair done.
I feel like you and I are describing two different eras of time. Okay. Yeah, no, that's the magic. That's the magic of 400 episodes, people.
There it is, all in one shot. It is so funny because yesterday we had someone who was so great to us that said they started watching 10 weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm so thankful when people tell us that, but I'm also like, how did they see it and stick around? Like, what? On episodes where that happens and we don't explain where it came from, like, God bless y'all.
I totally get the people who love the inside jokes because they were here when they started and have like grown with them. Now. And they get so excited when like the inside joke comes out again because they're like, I understood that reference, to coin a meme. But the people who were like just showing up for the first time, having no context of anything, I mean, how could you?
It's awesome. Thank you for staying.
Lieutenant Photo, super changes for the incredible bangs.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I appreciate that so much.
Salute you, sir. Tom LaValle
I did tell her, I was like, my bangs are like, it's a trademark. Like, just so you know, like we gotta make sure that they're
insured by Lloyd's of London. Like if anything happens to them. Tom LaValle says, happy Tuesday, SGS. What a day to be alive and sour. And Alpha Bill says, meanwhile, my 2-year-old is headbutting the door.
Oh no.
Which may affect the graduation thing in like 16 years, but I'm not sure.
We'll see
how it works in Australia. Jake Salazar says Seahawk has a whole of 14 entries on the "You're not a wrestling fan" if on his note. That guy is hilarious. He's very true.
He's great. He's so great.
Vicky L says for Alex's shirt, Muppets rule. This is actually my Adam Cole Muppet Babies.
It's so good.
If you look closely, they're all doing the
Muppet Babies.
Love this shirt. Elizabeth in purple, 400, and my daughter's graduation. Oh my goodness, Vicky's daughter is graduating as well. What a fantastic time for all the entire SGS.
I know. Congratulations to all the parents of the graduating kiddos.
The match we were talking about 10 minutes ago, it ended. There were some good hardcore spots in it. Gigi Dolin, formerly Priscilla Kelly, looked very at home here, and won with like a
not out of place.
She won with like a choke slam uranagi off the top rope through a table. Like it was not a full like rock bottom. She just picked her up to rock bottom and then just let her go. So she didn't go down with her, which was nice. And then she pinned her, and that was it. And it did feel like this is a blow off, but it also felt like, I don't know, is it just me, or when they did Shawn Michaels' Greatest Hits number 12 and did the breakup,
volumes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, when they did that on the Ding Dong Hello, and she kicked her and then like put her entire head through the door. Like I was anticipating like the women's division kind of like revolving around them for a bit. Like that seems so hot and so like, and again, like, I don't know, Mandy's gone. They're not allowed to mention Mandy anymore. But Toxic Attraction was the women's division for over a year, and they were a major, major part of it. So it did feel like they were going to devote a lot more time and a lot more effort to like making this a very important thing. And while I do believe the matches got better and better throughout the feud, if this is it, it's not quite what I thought they were going to do with it.
So to your point, the other piece of that is you sacrificed one of the few women's tag teams that have actually had a successful tag team reign in
And
all of American women's tag team wrestling, not even just NXT or WWE. Like the most successful tag team reigns, arguably.
In an alternate timeline, they are the women's tag champs on the main roster right now.
Of course. So
and
if you're gonna
been for months.
It should feel impactful. I think there were a few things that are a little bit out of their control that altered this, like the injury to Jacy Jayne. I think that really, man, just sucks because that halted the momentum. And I do think the other issue is the women's title picture was such a circus that it was like distracting almost because it should just be Roxanne, right? Or should have just been Roxanne, but Roxanne to Indy to vacant to Tiffany is that carousel, I think, kind of took away from the fact that, and Lord knows on this show, we have complaints about the NXT stories that happen. One thing we can always give them credit for, and I'm happy for, is NXT is one of the few brands on American television that builds out women's non-title feuds pretty consistently. And this was one of them, and it felt hot and like it was ready to go, but it just lost its footing a little bit on the way. I think a lot of that was the injury and what was going on in that main title picture, unfortunately. But tonight I was happy that it felt like at least they got one match that felt like, all right, like there was some juice behind it. They gave it a lot of time. I think it was the first one that Jacy got injured in, right? And we were like, that felt off considering how personal it was. And then the second one just kind of got lost. But this was good. This was really strong. And I hope they lean into this with Gigi because she is made for this little style.
Yeah. Orion Ben says, I nominate renaming women's cage matches for Priscilla Kelly. Just call them the Priscilla Kelly matches because
Priscilla Kelly matches, sure.
Yeah. And Orion Ben says you could see Gigi's face. She was home.
Yes.
Yeah.
She looked happy. And to their credit, they called this a weaponized steel cage. They did not call this this was not Ambrose Asylum. This wasn't a toxic trap match or anything. This was just a weaponized steel cage match. They didn't overly gimmick it. Like, it's always better to pull back and go simple. And they did a lot of that here. And that's all I ask for in this world.
Yep. And Pro Wrestling Process says 2 words, Gigi effing Dolin. Oh, wait, that's more than 2. And Luis says 4 stars in the PC, 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome, 69 stars with a busted open Rick Knox. This is good. And it was a spoiler alert. Now they are done with this feud and moving on to become all other women in the division. And it does feel,
my only kind of complaint here is that I feel like Gigi feels like a top face. And I feel like Jacy doesn't feel like a top heel. And largely that's because we have, to your point, so many of this archetype of heel kicking around NXT right now. Like, and Cora Jade is taking up a lot of oxygen in that regard. Like, that is her whole thing, is that thing that's a microcosm of Jacy Jayne is fully fleshed out, and Cora especially. So I do think this was more productive for Gigi than it was for Jacy, not necessarily her fault. But I think we're going to we'll talk about it later. I think we're going to get a quick Thea Hale title defense, and maybe Gigi Dolin's your next baby face.
We'll talk about something they've already done poorly to make me not interested in a Gigi Dolin versus Tiffany Stratton match. So Tony D got his mugshot taken. That was our only peek into that storyline tonight. Really,
it was so good.
It was great. He was very. It feels like it's happened before. He's he knows what he's doing. Yeah.
It was very close to being the thumbnail of this episode, but too much happened later on tonight.
Yes, that's true. With the only match that they promised us, kicking off the show. You had to figure there would be others. But somebody was like, why isn't this the main event? And the reason is because it's not really that important. Unfortunately, they decided once the magic seemed drained out of the thing, they weren't going to push it as being, a major deal. They could have, especially when Jacy got healthy, they could have said, no, we're actually going to invest some real time into this, make it really important. And if your plan was to have Gigi come out of this by beating Jacy Jayne, instead of doing a all-women entrance into a battle royal to get a title match, you could have had Gigi Dolin after the main event when she beat Jacy Jayne in a weaponized steel cage match. Maybe she's busted open or something. She grabs a mic and she says, Tiffany, Stratton, I want you. You know what I mean? You could have done that. You could have made that a major, here. Gigi Dolin barely got by Jacy Jayne, who's also really important. But Gigi Dolin says she wants Tiffany Stratton next. You could have done all that thing, but they said, no, that's not what we're doing with that yet. Maybe later we'll light a fire into one of them, but not right now.
I do think a couple things. One, I feel like this story was supposed to be so about them that I don't mind that they didn't lead into the next woman up thing. Because this was personal in between them and it was a weaponized steel cage match. I was more surprised it didn't close the show by the fact that it was a steel cage match, the literal cage. I thought that would be going on last, but there were a lot of other things that happened in this episode. And I think from a TV perspective too, if you're flipping through channels and you see two babes with weapons in a steel cage, you might stick around and watch for a little bit. So I do think TV might have been playing into that as well.
Right. We now hear from NXT champion Carmelo Hayes, who beat Braun Breaker at Battleground. And
I wish it was called Battleground because it's already spelled that way.
It is Battleground. But he is interrupted by Noam Dar and Noam Dar's entourage. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. The match will be fun. You know what I mean? It's one of those things of I had not considered this, and I started going this is because this is my sickness, my true toxic trait. Let me see if my brain can find all the things wrong with this in the next 10 seconds. And I can't. I don't do that. I don't make a choice to do that. That's just what my brain does.
Just happens.
I can't stop it. And I'm like, well, Noam won. He cheated, but he won. And he's another he's not going to win no matter who faces Carmelo next for the title or anything is not going to beat Carmelo. So this doesn't, and we've already established Noam is going to lose a lot of matches that aren't contested by Heritage Cup rules because he already lost one to Nathan Fraser where they weren't so this is going to be his thing now. He's going to lose a bunch of non-title matches or non-Heritage Cup rules matches. It's just a thing we're going to get now. So, okay, let's see where this goes. And where it could have gone would have been very interesting, but they didn't do it. And I'm very upset because they had the opportunity. And I think honestly, Noam Dar would have been great at this. They had Trick Williams of all people calling out Noam Dar for cheating.
As I was watching this, I was like, Alex, this could be so sad.
Of all people, Trick Williams,
whose entire purpose for the first year to be on this program.
You, sir? How very dare you have the hypocrisy, the unmitigated gall, sir, to call out anyone else for cheating? That is your entire reason for existing on this show for the last year. It didn't have to be. They could have done a really cool thing where Trick realized the error of his ways and Carmelo said, stay in the back, I'm going to do this on my own, and he did, or whatever. Now, he did win clean at Battleground, but he didn't win clean on Stand and Deliver. And
no, that was the first time he won clean and maybe ever.
Right.
You also have Cup versus title right there.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, he says, you cheated to beat Dragon Lee, and I would have loved Noam to. Oh, that's rich. That's rich. That is. Yeah, now listen, I know we've all seen you're turning over a new leaf. But let's not pretend that your boy there didn't help cheat to give you every victory you had defending the North American title. As a matter of fact, that pretty little piece of gold you got around your waist right now, if memory serves, that pretty little piece of gold was driven into the back of the skull of Braun Breaker, giving you the victory. But we're not allowed to talk about that. Like, Noam Dar would have been the perfect dude to say all that stuff. And it should have, that stuff being called out could piss off Carmelo and give a reason for him to accept this challenge, which he has no reason to do. He just defended the title. He knows that Noam's got a full entourage of people who are only there to cheat, to distract the referee, to make sure he loses the match. So I would have loved a little extra personal dig by Noam to get him to accept this ridiculous challenge that shouldn't even be there.
I just have to call this exchange up. I've arrived. Hope NXT was bad. Show was good tonight. Emily says, damn it. So funny. So some good and bad here. We're gonna work our way into a pun topic. We'll get there. Some good and bad. Noam Dar and this stable is actually kind of fun. Like, Jakara Jackson has a great personality. Lash Legend's personality is always
tell I'm really gonna like them all together. I mean, they're gonna be maddening as heels. You're gonna hate when they cheat all the time. But I believe there should be one major faction that cheats all the time, and the other heels should do it occasionally when they need to. This is a perfect faction that cheats all the time. They're perfect for it. I honestly like it.
And I think the right people are in it. And I'm a fan of stables where it's not like, hey, this one guy can talk and nobody else can. Like, Jakara Jackson has crazy charisma. Lash Legend has a lot of charisma. Or Mensa, not like the most scathing promo I've ever heard, but certainly can carry a stick. So I like that piece of it. I don't know if I love the Heritage Cup being something that's going to have people cheating all the time. Like, to me, the Heritage Cup feels like a prestige thing. So that kind of bums me out a little bit. And with this feud, it felt like we couldn't acknowledge that Trick cheats all the time because we didn't do it at Battleground with Braun Breaker, and you would be leapfrogging that. So that's frustrating.
I need it brought up by somebody at some point, because every time they don't, it makes me insane.
It would have been really funny if Noam Dar brought it up and was like, and Braun just came out and went, That's why I'm like, just go title versus cup. Like, you could have Noam Dar come out and just talk about what I just said, that cute little belt you got there, but let me tell you about how much more prestigious the Heritage Cup is and why, and the rules that it's defended under, all these things. Like, you could have just built out a fun little program on that and gone there, because this does feel like a weaker opening segment for this, but it's only the first one, and there's a whole staple involved here. So I'm open to it. I think the matches are just going to be incredible. Like, if this is something they continue with, maybe not based on what we saw today, but I think like Noam Dar and Carmelo that's just fun. Like, you can run that back if you want. No problems. Obviously feels like they're heading in a different direction, but I didn't have any complaints outside of that. It just feels like they didn't tap into like the juice of what it could be. But I think Noam Dar having a stable is a really good call.
Yeah. I think that the only thing I think once you establish that the Heritage Cup is the title that has rules attached to it, and the rules must be followed, and there is an immediate you lose penalty if you get disqualified, then it is begging eventually to have the guy to come along and hold it who flouts all those rules and somehow gets away with it, because that gets him heat.
But
The
those are
problem
not
is-
interference rules. That's
Right.
my thing. Because
Right.
you know I love my pure rules.
Yeah.
You know I love a good time limit draw.
Mhm.
But like the Heritage Cup rules and interference don't feel compatible to bend.
Right.
That's my
Right.
thing.
That's the thing with me, is that I think eventually in the legacy of the Heritage Cup, you want to have a guy who comes along and holds it, who flouts all those rules and gets away with it to get heat. The problem is the first guy holding it on the show that most of us are watching it for the first time, that's the wrong guy. You don't want the first guy to be the guy who breaks all the rules and gets away with it. But because he's the champ from the before time, from the long, long ago, and he brought it with him, then that's a problem. You'd want a guy, ideally, you would want a guy to introduce the Heritage Cup to American audiences and have it be contested the right way, with good upstanding, rules following, and pip pip and cheerio, chin up and all that. But you don't have that. So now you got to figure out how soon can you put the Heritage Cup in the hands of the right kind of guy to hold it. But anyway, yes, I agree with your point, and I feel like it's just the wrong time to have this guy hold it.
If you disagree with my point, that would mean you don't like wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really a fan of wrestling if you disagree with anything I say.
It's true.
If you have an opinion that is not my opinion,
mm-hmm.
you are not a wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm. So Trick Williams is confronted backstage by the entire posse, and he seems to I'm watching you. I want him to say, listen, I know all about cheating to help your boy win a match, so I know all the tricks of the trade. But they'll never have him say that either. They have memory hold the entire year-long reign of that guy as NXT champion. Whatever. It is what it is. I can't stay mad at it because it's going to be the only thing that the only thing I focus on for the entirety of his reign as NXT champion. I just have to let it go, or that's the only thing that we're going to talk about every week.
Or you will have to join Von Wagner in therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh boy, don't even. Not yet. During the in-ring promo, Dar says that Hayes' biggest weakness is that he has load management. And Jambeard says, if you need help with your load management...
Bluechew.com, code Fightful.
Okay.
But I had the same segue, and now I feel like it got robbed of me, so I have to do better later. It's called artistic integrity.
Okay, fine. Good. Right. All right. Good. So Cora Jade got clocked in the face.
She sure did.
And she's got Christopher Daniels' eye, which is the only thing I can know how to say it. Like it's the entirety of the white of her eye is now red. She's got Christopher Daniels' eye. I don't even know how to describe
Christopher Daniels' eye. That is what that is.
She has Christopher Daniels' eye. Fallen
angel Cora Jade.
Yeah. Cora J. Daniels is now what Cora J. Daniels is what,
think of like two wrestlers
is what Luis is calling him.
So different.
And but anyway, so she's running her mouth about how if she hadn't been half blind in that match, she would have beaten Lara Valkyria, then she would have beaten Tiffany Stratton. I should be NXT Women's Champ right now because it's all about me. Like it's the same damn why whatever. And then
they had the nerve to have her say, "We should be celebrating me and all the things I've accomplished."
Yeah.
So those keeping score at home, the things that she's accomplished are winning the tag titles and immediately abandoning the tag titles.
Them. Yes. Yeah, it's true. Anyway, Ivy Nile. Rules. Somewhat. She should rule, but they don't book her to rule. But anyway, she's like, Cora Jade, I'm sick of you running your mouth. Let's have a fight tonight. And she walks off, and Cora Jade's like, what? She says to all the women in the locker room none of whom I've ever seen before. What? You think I'm scared of her? I'm not scared of her. They have a match later, but I will talk about it.
Scarier than you, Cora.
They have a match later, but we'll talk about it when we get to it because there's other things that go involved as well. Backstage, this friggin' backstage scene.
This is for you, Emily. This was terrible.
Oh, this friggin' backstage scene. Reggie comes up to Axiom. And Axiom, seeing him there, is like ready to fight. And Reggie is Reggie is there just saying, you know, what he said, Axiom says, what are you doing here, Reggie? Reggie, everyone's calling me Reggie. I mean, that is my given name, but you know, my people, where I was growing up, they all called me Scrypts. That's the first you've mentioned it. I mean, you were a major character on Raw for a year, unfortunately. Why didn't you bring it up then, Reggie? Everyone there was calling you Reggie. You could have, like, at some point, you like Dana Brooke. You were married to Dana Brooke for a little bit. Did you ever tell Dana that your name was, that she should call you Scrypts? Do you, Dana, take this man's Scrypts to be your lawfully wedded husband? Like, we didn't get that. We didn't get that. We should have gotten that if that was his real name.
It's not like how, like, my full name is Kate, but it's not like, oh, they call me Catherine back. Like, Scrypts is a very specific, not Reggie name. And it's also not like, it doesn't sound like it's maybe related to a heritage of any sort, or and then this is the funniest part, because then Axiom says, and he says, oh, that's a long story. Well, that's a story for another time. This is the time. What other time?
When you were Reggie on the main roster for like a year and a half, it wasn't the time any point during then. It wasn't the time during the time then. They're never going to explain it. But
no, they're never gonna have the time.
Honestly, they never would have said this if they didn't immediately have people in the NXT crowd going, Reggie. They were like, crap, they know it's him. What are we gonna do about this? Because we don't want to call him Reggie anymore. We want to call him something else. Like, you know,
like, if this is what you were gonna do, the fact that you would rob Jacy the Body Ventura Scrypts of this gimmick to go and botch it this hard. Okay, fine. I get it. Sometimes you got to choose. We had two Sin Caras. Sometimes you got to choose. You want to choose Reggie? Fine. But to boot it like this and compromise with Jacy the Body Ventura, who changed his whole moveset to be moonsault based and not boa based anymore, as it used to be with Poses, who you have sent to all parts of the world where events are not.
Right.
Justice for our Scrypts, okay? Because that's some nonsense.
Thank you, Kate. I always knew that I could count on you to have my back in this whole thing. That HBK, that Shawn Michaels, man, you can't trust him. I trust Shawn Michaels about as far as I can throw Lord Tensai. That's what I'm telling you, because he's much larger than Shawn Michaels, so I could throw him less far, and therefore proves my point more. But listen, this is a thing. You got to understand here. They sent me the script for this, where they were like, you know, like, listen, everyone around here is calling me Jesse, but that's not my real name. My peeps, my people, my fam, they all back in the hood, they were all calling me Scrypts from the first day I could read. And what was I reading? Well, I was reading the scripts for plays and whatnot, because, you know, my father, he used to do community theater, so he just have scripts everywhere. But anyway, that's a long story, and it's not for right now to tell. So
I feel like Scrypts and Gorilla could have really had something.
No.
Like, this was just like, you were so ahead of your time with this that it couldn't happen. But it feels like a disservice to all the work that you did. And I'm so sorry.
I'm still asking for my release. They say we'll release you at the same time we release Mustafa Ali, and it feels like that's not happening anytime soon.
It sure does not.
You know what? I'm just going to stow away in that guy's luggage, and we'll figure out, maybe he can get me out of here whenever he goes.
I mean, I don't think that's how contracts work, but I could be wrong.
I mean, like I'll just get it. Jam Beard has a question about Reggie. I suppose it says was Scrypts on his sommelier applicant form, and I don't believe sommelier is that one of those. It's one of them. Oh, because he used to be in the Circuit de Soleil. Used to be in the that must be like a fancy French word for acrobat. Because I know exactly that's what he does. Because he does the flippity dips, and so maybe that's what it is. Sommelier must be. I believe it is the French verb for to flippity flip, and that's what it is. Sommelier. I do sommeliering and other things as well.
I don't know how to conjugate it, but I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah, Circuit de Soleil. That's where he got his start. So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to come here and air my grievances because
I've got your back, man. I'm so sorry.
I appreciate it. I really do. If it's not one thing, it's the other. If it's not the Shawn Michaels ruining your whole big comeback, teaching you how to do moonsaults and stuff, and then pulling you from if it's not that, it's the CIA doing mind control devices with weather controlling machines. Like it's one or the other. That's what, at least in my experience. Anyway, I gotta go.
It's a black eye on the industry. You know what I mean?
It's a giant Cora Jade sized black eye on the whole situation. I gotta go.
Okay, thank you for being
here. Speaking of black eyes, they wanted me to play Reggie, and I feel like that was very insensitive on their part.
Yeah, you made the right call there, saying that creative is not for you.
Yep, it's not right. Anyway, I gotta go. Bye.
Bye.
What happened?
That was just the real Scrypts coming in to talk to us.
Of course. He always does that.
I know, you just missed it. That guy, week in and week out, man. Give everything he had.
Smickers. Not Snickers. Smickers. I don't know if Smickers really satisfies you, but it's possible. The first bit that I remember and where the Alex Kate chemistry really started to take off to me was geographically challenged Tony D on the docks of Chicago.
That was so early. That was before we knew Tony D was actually good.
We had no idea. All we knew was these ridiculous. Listen, I'm down here at the docks. The docks in Philadelphia, where I was last week. All the docks we got here. Anyway,
I just got the Chicago theater in the background.
Yep. But Smickers says been hooked ever since. SGS for life. Well, thank you so much, Smickers. Okay. Speaking of things that I've been very hooked on for life. 5 years ago, I started pitching Mustafa Ali coming to NXT. 5 years ago. Better late than never.
The show.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
I started to say that he's he never got to be in NXT, but he was the perfect guy to be in NXT. Like, he went from the Cruiserweight Classic to the main roster, where they never treated the cruiserweights with any seriousness. He would show out on 205 Live in front of 40 people who fell asleep during the end of SmackDown. Like, it was not. He should have been in front of the same 300 people who love to watch flippy guys do flips. Like, it would have been perfect for him. I pitched all these great ideas for just let him go to NXT for 6 months. It'll be revolutionary for him, his career, for NXT as a whole. And
if they'd given us Mustafa Ali versus Finn Balor's second run,
Yep. Yeah. But he's here now. A very dumb thing led to a very great thing, which is Wesley being interviewed, and then the dyad showing up literally like this, like, Joe Gacy sent us, we're gonna beat you up, and he said, all right, well, come on then, says Wesley, and it was 2-on-1. And they didn't really attack him because they had to wait for Tyler Bate to come in the picture, and then they left because it was 2-on-2. And Wesley looks over at Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate said, just like I told you, I was only having the match for your title because for the spirit of competition. We're still friends. And Wesley, who had been a little bitch about it for like 3 weeks, is immediately like, yes, you're right. We should be friends again. And then they do this. Then they do this thing.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bit off, but I kind of like, okay, I retained my title. We're good again. Is not the worst thing that they could do in that situation. Mm-hmm. But you're right in that he had been a little bitch about that exact same thing before. Don't know why our North American title holder is in a tag team picture, but that could be a really fun tag match for a minute.
Right. What we got was Tyler Bate and Wesley having a match versus the old GYV. If you listen to Flash Morgan Webster in an interview on Fightful, he thinks they still should be the GYV, and it's a travesty what NXT has done to those boys. He did not hold back. Flash Morgan Webster was shooting.
What are you going to do, fire me mode? Yeah.
He's already not there anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, there's a standoff very awkwardly in the middle of the ring 2 minutes into the match. And then the crowd goes crazy because they see Mustafa Ali and immediately start chanting, Ali, Ali, Ali. And he's not smiling. And I was like, okay, take the hint from everybody in this entire building wants to go crazy when they see this guy do awesome things. They want to cheer for him. Like they told him to go out there in your black leather jacket and not smile about anything. Like, he can be a really good heel. I'm not saying he can't, but this guy's never gotten to be like consistently in front of an audience that loves him all the time, getting to show them how good he can be all the time. And I've been wanting that for him for so long. And just don't immediately turn him heel when he gets there. Now, they didn't tonight, but they're gonna. It feels very obvious to me that they're gonna. But I'm so happy that he's in NXT because, I mean, I don't know how long he's going to be there for. But he sits for commentary versus the rest of the match. He's very complimentary to Wesley and Tyler Bate. He likes what he sees. And they ended up winning the match. They do like a tandem spiral tap to both dudes. And so then good. Tyler Bate hits the Tyler Driver 97. They get the pinfall, but then they're immediately attacked by Joe Gacy. Oh, by the way, also before they start attacked by Joe Gacy, Ivy Nile runs down and attacks Rava Rain. And then the Creeds are down there and they're being pushed away by the Dyad. So then Joe Gacy attacks Wesley and Tyler Bate. So Mustafa Ali has to come in and beat up Joe Gacy and get him out of there. But all he did was punch him a couple of times, like on the top of the head. I was like, if you bring Mustafa Ali after 5 years of me begging for it to NXT and pair him up with Joe Gacy, I'm going to lose my mind. That can't happen.
Oh, I don't think that's what that was. No, I think actually the holding back is symptomatic of the fact that he's not going to be in a feud with Joe Gacy. Like I think that's.
I hope.
That's the move, is you probably want to do a triple threat with him, Wesley, and Tyler Bate. No,
right?
That's the move. And if he came out swinging
right?
it, if he came out swinging it,
but then he raised both of their arms. Like, listen, if you're telling me I'm going to get a spirit of competition, 3-way feud between Wesley and Tyler Bate and Mustafa Ali, that's about the happiest this boy's been covering NXT since the beginning of time.
Long time.
So there was also that, and then there was the tweet from NXT that said, "What's Mustafa Ali doing here?" And then Dijak replied, "That's a good question." I'm like, if you can figure out a way to like sneak in a Dijak versus Ali mini feud,
I'd be so happy.
Like just as a bonus to whatever, because he also said what he said was, after coming so close versus Gunther in Saudi Arabia, I have got a taste for gold and I need to be a champion. Which, honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. But the way he said it made me go, and I will do literally anything I have to become champion, which we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, but let's get, or you know what, honestly, like they never really got a chance to do this. If they're going to pair him with a heel, shouldn't be Joe Gacy. It should be his old running buddy, Dijak.
Yes, it should.
That friggin' tag team, like just those two dudes against the Creeds.
Or just the heavy.
But together. His heavy, but also they would wrestle matches together. Can they? I want them versus the Creeds in a best of 7.
Oh God, yeah.
That's what I want. Yep. I want Julius Creed versus Mustafa Ali. I want Julius Creed versus Dijak. If Brutus Creed tags in at any point, fine. But mostly what I want is Julius Creed versus those guys.
You go fine. Yeah, our apologies to Emily Cease because we would be just so happy if that happened. But I do think this is also the first instance of truly using the free agent thing to NXT's advantage. And then I later was like, Baron Corbin wasn't on that list. Kate, he's the first one on the graphic, but I didn't recognize him because he's in a stupid fucking fedora. It made me so mad. And I didn't take down my tweet of being wrong because 1, I owned my mistakes, and 2, everybody needs to see how dumb the hat is. But I appreciated that they paid off the free agent thing because nothing about the draft has made any sense, even a little bit.
Yeah.
Blows my mind that NXT is the first brand to make sense of it. But I love this. There's a lot of really good that can happen here. And because the North American title kind of still feels 205 Live-ish, like still feels kind of like a cruiserweight title in a lot of ways. Like I'm happy about that. Like they've had Carmelo and Wesley holding it. It feels those moments. So Mustafa being in that picture feels great to me. And it would just make my heart sing if we get that little triple threat.
Yeah. Pro Wrestling Podcast says my boy Ali hit the restart button.
Good
it's
dudes,
a perfect place for him to go.
Those Pro Wrestling Podcast boys are good peeps.
It's a perfect place for it. It's a perfect time for him to go there. Perfect. The thing of it is that they don't have a great track record with recent call downs.
Come on. Apollo Crews versus Dabba-Kato was what we were all asking for.
This is the problem, Kate, is that they don't have a good record with recent. Honestly, the guy who's fared the best since being called down is Dijak, and he hasn't really done much of anything except for have great matches. Like he's gotten close to titles before, but like not actually gotten through it. Like Apollo Crews had those matches with Braun Breaker, but didn't actually. He was mostly just he was seeing the future in a diner. Like that's mostly what he did, and I feel like
also went fishing. How dare you? The thing with Dijak though is too, I don't know if I need a title run from Dijak. I'm not against it, but this version of him and the type of wrestler he is, I'm like, I'm kind of cool with you and Dragunov just beating the ever-living crap out of each other. So, but you're right. He's been the best position in the call down world. But I don't know. I hope they have a plan that makes sense for Mustafa here, because it could be something that's A, great for him, and B, really helpful to the NXT product.
Yeah. There's a I mean, this is 5 years ago in 2018 when I was originally calling for Mustafa Ali to go to NXT. There were a lot of guys down there that I really wanted to see him wrestle that aren't there anymore. But to be fair, there are a bunch of guys there right now that I would like to see him wrestle, including Wesley and Tyler Bate, including Dijak, including Dragunov. Like there's some
Nathan Fraser. Yeah. There's a lot of guys there.
Great guys for Jesse the Body Ventura. I mean,
Jesse the Body Ventura, obviously.
That's one of those legend matches I can get behind, actually. But and Jake Salazar says this isn't BCC We don't do that kind of baby face here. Like just standing around in a leather jacket, scowling at people. It's not the same kind of. They don't usually do that here. So I am worried. I'm willing to let it play out because I have to. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep for a week. And
I love Ali as a heel though, so I'm like, I actually don't care either way.
I want him to get the kind of like the love that he deserves and would. And here's the thing: he shows up, and the crowd immediately loses their shit that he's there and starts chanting his name. Like your immediate Pavlov's response to seeing this guy is want to cheer for him. Like you.
Right, but if he's a face, he has to be an idiot. Those are not mutually exclusive. Like it
doesn't have to be.
And in this NXT, if you're a baby face, you are a moron.
Okay, I'm not saying it's not.
Alex,
true,
what did we see Cody Rhodes do yesterday? Let's talk about top baby faces in the company.
Jake Salazar says, "I can't wait till Cody gets relegated to NXT for adversity."
Well, he has to because also his dad.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Anyway, I'm very excited for whatever they're doing with Ali versus Tyler versus Wesley. Also, I'm not going to be on the show next week. I'm on vacation, so I might like just have to like do a crazy like call in from my phone in the parking lot of my hotel, just being like, I told you they're pairing him with Joe Gacy. The world's ending. And then the cops are going to get called on me.
Vacation is ruined.
So Thea Hales decided to learn how to be a better wrestler by having Charlie Dempsey punch her in the face a few times. I mean, that was implied by this backstage thing. Was like Duke Hudson's like Dick says, Duke, I gotta get in there and learn. How will I learn if I don't get in there and fight him? And then they were like stalking around each other in the ring like this, which implies that like Charlie Dempsey at least threw one punch at Thea Hale, but they would never show it on TV, so they cut away. But it does imply heavily there'll be some punches.
But it was more he like was putting people in headlocks and stuff.
I know. But they were not doing catch wrestling stances. They were doing this stance.
It was very 1920s like. But because Drew Gulak is not normally that guy, I'm like a little bit more okay with this. I kind of liked this segment. Don't be mad.
No, I mean it's fine. It's fine. Whatever.
I like Duke Hudson here saying like, you don't have to do this. I'll give you a pass. And Thea Hale being like, no, I have to. Like in this scene that we got, her cocaine energy is like the only way to describe it. Kind of worked because she was like very intensely focused on what was going on. I liked that there was wrestling at this alleged wrestling school. This made sense. There were things that made sense on NXT today. This was one of them.
I know it was very it was
makes me itchy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it feels wrong.
No, feels wrong. So yeah, but I like that. Louise says that Thea Hale is the catch point version of Wheeler Yuta. Just Drew Gulak cutting promos with Dempsey just growling behind him, and just Thea Hale going crazy and like that little shit back there, she'll rip your damn eyes out. You know? Jambeard recommends that we have Denise sub in for me next week.
I think Denise has her own NXT review, but I quite like working with her. I'm gonna see if we can pull a Reg. It feels wrong to do that without you here, though. But if anyone's gonna keep the sour spirit,
yeah, Cardoza proved of some very good knowledge of NXT when I had him on to replace you when you were on the Jericho cruise.
All right.
So
you just don't want to do sour grapsity when you're not here. I get it.
If like, people would riot. I'm just saying, like they've been running that for a long time. You know, NXT women's champion Tiffany Stratton did a Tiffybration.
That's what it should be. It should be someone else from the diner. While you're out, while Belinda is on her 65 and older cruise.
Yes.
We'll get Brenda. Because I can't deal with Marsha at the mall anymore. It's too much. I get my dose of her and I'm good for a week. Brenda, consider.
So, my older cousin, who lives at the home, she invited me there, to have dinner with her. She's sweet. She doesn't have much long left, but how they sometimes they do the little raffles, the silent auction.
Oh, I love the silent auction.
I decided that I would just, on a whim, I would just do a little bid for the cruise, for the cruise that, just maybe I'd get one of the tickets and I won. So I'm going on the cruise. I had no idea it's a nudist cruise, but
let's not pretend this is your first time playing nude shuffleboard, okay?
I am going to put myself out there in more ways than one, and I am going to see how it goes. So sounds I'll be going next week.
Number 9 is on the way.
I'll be going next week, and we'll see what happens. Anyway,
we should make Sean do it, and he has to do all the bits.
You'd watch a man die in real time.
I would just get fired, but it would be worth it.
Yeah, it would be good. So what did you call it? A Tiffybration?
A Tiffybration.
Tiffybration. Which doesn't really make sense, but we'll allow it. We'll allow it.
Yes, we will.
So, but anyway,
I won the title.
So what's a promo about how everything should be about me? Because
yes,
that's the only thing that, and then she invites the entire women's locker room out there so she can basically tell them to their faces they're not good as she is, and then she's surprised when they'll get the ring to attack her. First is Thea Hale. That is notable. That they give Thea Hale more of a one-on-one time with Tiffany than either Lyra Valkyria, who should be for that belt, or Roxanne, who's just a gal now. Like, she's literally just a gal.
She's not just a gal. She's a gal with anxiety, which means that she's not good enough to be in the title picture.
Which drops her down to just a gal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Which is crazy. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, they all kick her out of the ring, and they decided next week that there's going to be a battle royal to determine the number 1 contendership for Tiffany's new title. And I'd be shocked if it's not Thea Hale who wins it, because whoever wins it is going to lose. But they appear to be doing a thing with Thea Hale now where she's trying to build confidence in herself. She realizes she's losing all the time. She doesn't like that about herself. She's trying to learn to get better. She wants to be better. She was the first one to dive in the ring and take a shot at Tiffany Stratton. Roxanne's not winning it. You're not going to do the Roxanne feud with Tiffany so early, because she's just going to lose, and that's a dumb thing to waste that. You're not going to do that with Lyra Valkyria. The only other option I see is Gigi Dolin, but Gigi Dolin lost clean to Tiffany Stratton in the first round of the tournament. You just fucking did. Could have done something else if you wanted to do Gigi Dolin now, but you decided to book the fucking tournament that way, so that's on you. You could have done this. Not that I love interference, but you could have protected all of this by having Jacy Jayne cost Gigi Dolin that match, and then Gigi Dolin has to get the Jacy Jayne monkey off her back before she can finally come after Tiffany Stratton, because she knows she would have beaten Tiffany if Jacy Jayne hadn't gotten involved. That's a very classic wrestling story, but you don't even have that because you just had Gigi Dolin go in there and lose Tiffany clean, and now I don't see that as an option yet. I think you can do that down the line, but if you look at the field they have on that graphic, the top row is entirely women I've never seen before, and Tatum Paxley. It's just women I've never seen before and Tatum Paxley. So Wendy Chu's not on that graphic. Wendy Chu,
I don't know where she is.
She's had a really good feud with Tiffany Stratton like 9-12 months ago, and she won that feud. Wendy Chu, who already beat Tiffany a year ago, getting the first shot at Tiffany as a champion, that's a story you can tell. You know,
but we also haven't seen Wendy Chu in a while. So, like, I don't know.
But she's been wrestling on Level Up most weeks.
So I don't mind it not being Roxanne, because I think they're obviously, we're going to talk about this later, but setting up Blair Davenport and her, right? And I also don't mind it being Thea Hale, because I think we got a little bit to go until the next premium live event. And I think this is not going to be a premium live event feud. Like, if you want to do this intermittently, that's fine. And I think there's something very fun to lean into with Gigi Dolin and Tiffany Stratton, and that you have heel goddess Barbie doll gal and like badass, evil, delightful weirdo. Awesome.
I mean, let's be honest.
Gigi
For
Dolin,
a year,
right.
for a year, she was evil Barbie doll gal.
Evil Barbie doll gal. Yeah,
that's what she was for a year when she was with Toxic Attraction. But
yeah,
yes, I
think you could lean into.
You can
it's
easily
basically
twist
high
that
school.
around. Yeah.
You could do that, right? So I think that as like a longer term feud would serve better anyway. So I don't mind Thea Hale in this spot, assuming that this is going to be a one-off.
Yeah, it's going to be a one-off. It's going to further her own story. And listen, I mean, I thought she was improving a year ago, Tiffany Stratton, but if you told me that a year from then she would be champion, I'd be like, wow, that's a lot of improvement. So if you're gonna eventually never give Roxanne another run with the title and gonna take her up to the main roster at some point, and Tiffany Stratton holds the title for a long time, you could do a story where Thea Hale keeps improving and keeps improving and keeps improving and is eventually the one to beat Tiffany Stratton for the title. You could easily tell that story. So I think there's a great story to be told just within the Battle Royal of her almost getting eliminated like 5 or 6 times and always hanging on and finally eliminating people who you think have a much better shot of winning than she does. Getting that awesome moment. I think there's a really great way of doing that. But yeah. Hold on. What did I see here from Chris Mueller? They got to send Tiffany to the Barbie movie premiere with a title. She's basically pro wrestling Barbie, and her interviews would be funny. It's true.
They should send me.
So I thought they were just going to do a Roxanne Perez thing with Blair Davenport, and they may yet. But it was odd that they sent out Danny Palmer to do the "just show yourself." How dare you? This is badly written, but she did not help it. The promo was pretty atrocious. She's young and she's going to get better. But it was not a good promo written and not a good promo delivered. Where are you? Just show yourself. I am not leaving this ring until you show your face. And then we got a video package, and then Blair Davenport attacked her from behind, and it was Blair Davenport. We had that one a month ago.
Yep.
But
I wouldn't want it to be anybody else. So
no. And I think Blair Davenport's the right choice, and I hope it is like a thing for her and Roxanne to do for a while away from the title picture. I think those two have great matches. It does feel weird that they had Danny Palmer call her out and not Roxanne if it's going to be a Roxanne thing. But they could easily just retcon that and have her like, hey, how dare you beat up Danny Palmer? Now you got me to deal with, see?
Yeah.
And my anxiety is really low this week, so I might have a chance. All this shit on Twitter about how HBK is the best women's booker, like, slow down. Look what he's done to look what he's done to Roxanne Perez. That is the most can't miss young talent in all of women's wrestling, and they missed already. Like, they have to come back up in their next at bat and see if they can make it contact, because no.
Yeah. Great with amount of screen time. Terrible with, horrible booking kid with the actual stories themselves. I am intrigued to see what's next for Roxanne. I hope they have something planned. She's arguably their most valuable talent.
Yep. There's only one option to beat Tiffany, and that is Ivy. After she goes out on her own, Ivy needs to be champ by 2024.
She needs to be called up by 2024.
I'd love that idea. Both of those ideas. It just feels like they don't stop and start more with anybody than they do with Ivy Nile. So if you told me Ivy Nile, they finally figured out they just need to tap on the gas a little bit, and she's going to do the rest. She's going to be a major star and be champ by 2024. I would say, okay. But also, if you told me she's just going to lose straight up to Ava Raine next week, I'd say, yeah, probably. because their booking sucks. You know, like their booking
It also
sucks.
feels like it felt like she was operating a little bit more independently of Diamond Mine for a while, and now it feels like Diamond Mine is so intertwined again that like they have to be booked at the same, I don't want to say the same pace, but like in accordance with each other. Which is why I don't know if Ivy gets a title run. I feel like maybe eventually they just call up the unit of Diamond Mine.
And it may be they've got a new idea for what title reigns are supposed to be. Because if Indy Hartwell was the first of a trend, I would not be shocked to see an Ivy Nile like thanks for being here for a few years, kid. You've been doing good work. Here's a title run for 3 weeks, and then we're going to call you up. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do that more than once.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah?
Sometimes your call-up doesn't work, okay? Sometimes you need a little help getting it called up.
Getting it called up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think sometimes the handoff doesn't go as you anticipated when you are getting pulled up to the main roster, if you know what I'm saying.
Getting pulled up,
Getting pulled on up to the old main roster. Sometimes the old handoff doesn't work the way you want it to, but thankfully, we've got Bluechew.com to help you out.
If you're watching this, you have probably considered becoming a pro wrestler at some point. Well, let me tell you, I got your gimmick and I got your gimmick. Here's your gimmick name, Rock Hard Eric Shins. And your gimmick is Bluechew and the code Fightful. Same improved ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but you don't want those. You don't want those. You want Bluechew. It's chewable, gets into your system a lot faster. It's ready when you are or when you're not. Maybe you need that motivation. Maybe you need that step up in performance. Or maybe you just want a little bit of additional confidence. Take an online questionnaire with a physician, and when approved, it arrives straight to your door. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping, because that first shipment is free when you use the code Fightful. Mailman's not going to know what's up. The nosy Nellies around your neighborhood aren't going to know what's up. But let me tell you, that special someone's going to know what's up. Bluechew.com and the code Fightful.
It's good. Jim Breeze says you're struggling with that handoff. You are muted. You're not muted anymore, I don't think. Are you? Say things. Now you're muted. Why are you muted?
I don't know why I was muted.
But now you're not anymore.
Good. I'm not struggling with that handoff. That was fantastic. You question the Segway legend. Jam beard.
No one had better ever question your handoff technique. It is solid. Practiced over years of field work.
Yeah. I'm great at this.
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic.
There's never been any complaints, I think. I'm assuming too much.
No, I'm great at this.
Okay. Poor Stacks.
This annoyed me, this whole thing.
He should probably have more friends than just Tony.
Why is the mob one person now?
Hey, Gallus. I believe it was the three of you guys who blew the whistle on my boss, Tony D'Angelo. And for that, I'm going to slap you in the face and get my ass kicked by the two of yous. Because snitches get stitches. Which, ipso facto, if I play the reverse there, because I am about to get stitches, I must therefore be a snitch. Let's have a fight. It's very dumb.
Yeah, this was bad.
I'm.
This is why when you are overseeing underlings, you have to have underlings.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be like a second to nobody.
No, nobody. You should not have a one underling.
No.
Underlings is a plural.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just have a buddy. Which I'm not in the mob, but to my knowledge, not how that works.
No. Yeah, Louis saying week 3 of me asking why isn't Luca Cruzafino in the faction?
Yeah, come on.
Apparently he's in a local medical facility still after the beatdown that Von Wagner gave him. So anyway, so they beat the hell out of Stacks, and then just Mark and Wolfgang are kicked out of the building, but Joe Coffey has a match with Stacks, and Joe Coffey beats him because Stacks decides he's going to like spear the ring steps for no reason.
That was so weird. And
yeah, it's anyway, he wins, and Gallus keeps insinuating that it was actually Stacks that blew the whistle on his boss, so that's the thing, but like, don't break them up. What are you doing? Add more to the gimmick. Don't break them up if that's what they're doing. Luca is right there, especially since he's the lawyer. Like, it's anyway. Jambeard says that early Tony D eats New York Chicago style pizza.
Of course he does. Yeah. Deep dish, thick crust. Famous Ray's.
Somehow he folds a deep dish pizza. I don't know how he does it. It's really hard to do. It's very messy.
You go under the Brooklyn Bridge with your deep dish.
Edris and Malik are just everywhere backstage, but never wrestle anymore.
Yeah, what is going on with this?
They're backstage, like talking to Eddie Thorpe about his loss to Tyler Bate, and then the Damon Kemp was angry, and so now we're getting Thorpe versus Kemp 2 next week.
That should be good. It was great the first time. I don't have a problem with them running that back.
Yeah, just that's fine. But it just feel like Edris and Malik are like they're just like. Do you need are they hanging out backstage saying, do you have any backstage segments that you need extras in? Because we'll just be in them.
It feels like he did like that work tattoo idea to punk us all out, and then they just went away.
Yeah. Hank and Tank are backstage finishing each other's sentences.
I'm so in on those.
I do think it is very funny that they're the
stepbrothers scene.
They are the stepbrothers, but they also are the most unimaginative, like white guy type dudes of like favorite sauce on wings. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Buffalo. Oh my God! How did you come up with that? That like what?
That's what it is, though. That's what those guys are. I love it.
I understand. That is what's so funny about it because it's perfect. Great. But it is very favorite sauce on wings. Like I feel like you only ask a person that if your favorite sauce is not buffalo, because you hope it is something else that they have. So like, oh, I've never considered that, or I tried that once. But you know what's also great? Mango habanero. But instead it's just buffalo. Like it was like honestly, although holy crap, I cannot believe this. The same person who wrote this scene also wrote, I'm sure of it, the scene where Robert Stone asked Von Wagner what his favorite fries are.
What's your favorite dinosaur? Velociraptor. That was this whole scene, and I'm so in on it.
Favorite flavor of ice cream? Jesus Christ. That is very funny. Anyway, then Edris and Malik show up. They're like, you guys talking about food? I'd like to eat food.
They are not on the same page with all of their favorite foods.
No, they are definitely not. That just shows. Oh, you know what they're going to do now? Next week to kill some time?
Coexist.
Malik Blade versus Edris and Afe next week.
Yeah, of course.
All it's going to be like Hank and Tank proselytizing their own scripture, which is that if you are a tag team, you must fight each other. And then you will have your come to Jesus moments.
Ever since we beat the crap out of each other, we're besties, which is exactly what Briggs and Jensen did, by the way.
Louise says we need Sean to find out the producers for these backstage food segments. It's true.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Idris literally told Malik at the end of the skit, "We are not fighting." But now they have to. I'm sorry.
That's the biggest indicator that they're fighting.
Yeah, it's definitely doing it. But before with the Bluechew thing, Salazar said the segue is longer than the ad. Boom, roasted. I'm heel again.
Oh, boom, roasted. Do you know why the segue was longer than the ad? Because I used Bluechew.com code Fightful.
Yeah, there you go. If you're worried about the length of your segue,
want it to last longer, you use Bluechew. Double ad read. Suck it, Jake Salazar.
Von Wagner was being read the riot act by Robert Stone for hurting the guy he was in the ring with for too much. And then he's like, Von, come on, man. Listen, you obviously have some serious pent-up issues about your past. If you won't talk to me, then you need to talk to a therapist. A therapist? Why would I do that? Just to give him my hard-earned money? Let's be honest, Vaughn, you don't work too hard for that money. But he's like, you know what? I'll pay for your trip to therapy, says Robert Stone. And now, just because if the segments are going to be this bad, I will also want to hope for total chaos because Robert Stone, I feel like in character, would be a tremendous cheapskate. Now I need to see him really poorly disguised as a therapist, like with a very terrible fake beard and little glasses and a tweed jacket and an obvious wig. And then he's the therapist for Von Wagner because he doesn't care about Von Wagner telling somebody else why that picture exists. He needs to know why that picture exists.
Alex, what on earth? When you go back and you watch a promo of the greats, say a Gary Hart, okay? Underrated manager, one of the best of all time. When the hell have you ever seen a manager be like, you should not be so aggressive, professional wrestler?
Well, it's his aggression that gets in the way of him winning. You understand? He needs to be more in touch with his feminine side.
To be a great pro wrestler, a combat sport.
Yeah.
And the only thing that Von Wagner is good at, the only thing in all of the things you have to be good at pro wrestling, he's good at one thing, and it's chucking people. It's chucking them over the top rope onto a table, usually in a 5-man match, and shoulder blocking. That's it. Robert Stone, you're too violent. I would love this. I want to see Don Callis be like, John Moxley, you bleed just a little bit too much. Okay, let's calm down. Because I want my pro wrestlers to be lukewarm at best, just mild-mannered. I want them to have tried to talk it out first. I want them to have had normal childhoods and nothing interesting about them. This guy is already a lukewarm glass of milk. He's so boring. And you want this manager who has never had anybody successful under his wing. Ever. He only manages losers. Telling a pro wrestler to be less aggressive and go to therapy. First of all, if you go to therapy, clearly you're a loser. Look at Roxanne already showed us that.
Also, the wonderful thing of Von Wagner. Therapy? Therapy?
Oh, for losers taking care of your mental health.
But that's for crazies.
What's next? The psych ward?
Jake Salazar says, Jambeard says Stone gonna bring back Dr. Shelby.
A legend. Dr. Shelby was a legend.
Jake Salazar says Cody Rhodes, Von Wagner, Dusty Classic winners. Oh yeah, because Cody Rhodes is going back down for adversity, so he's going to be able to get Von Wagner to be in touch with what needs him.
If that happened, I'm in on Cody Rhodes. If he's working level up because he's fallen so far, I'm 100% in.
He's going to set back down to Class A ball, and he has to figure out the yips. he can't hit the curve anymore. He's like Chuck Knobloch. Like, he just can't do it.
Thank you for the Chuck Knobloch reference, because I was going to make it, and I was like, no one's going to know what the hell I'm talking about. No. But you made it.
He's the most famous Yip guy. I mean, I don't know if there's I'm sure there's other Yip guy. Oh, you know, Rick Ankiel. Rick Ankiel, fantastic pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. All of a sudden, just couldn't get it over the plate, no matter how much he tried. Then they had to make him. They had to make him an outfielder, and he ran headlong into the center field wall and had a concussion and never recovered. Poor Rick Ankiel.
Poor Rick Ankiel.
Oh boy. Then he's like, he's like, I'll pay for the therapist, and he goes. He usually does this. I'll think about it. Like, it doesn't say yes or you're on or you're right. I do need to do some introspection. He goes, I'll think about it.
He's probably thinking, what if Robert Stone doesn't pay for it? Because Lord knows NXT is not providing them with health insurance.
The therapist should be Kyle O'Reilly. Like when Roddy Strong was scared of Loomis back in Pandemic NXT. That was fun.
I miss KOR.
There was an amazing Ilya video where he said goodbye to his children. I mean, not really, but maybe via his phone in his incredibly gray hotel room. I just love the idea of like, hey, this guy's from the former Soviet Union. Is there any way we could like strip all color from his hotel room? We're shooting a video. We'd like him to be as Russian as possible. So he's like, he's speaking in Russian. It's like, I promise I will come. I will be coming home. And then you hear over the other line, it says, goodbye, Papa.
It fits with the program, like
which is very fun, but it would have been good to like do that before the match.
Yes, it would.
But now that we know that he did, it does feel kind of like a little bit over. But listen, Ilya's great. The match was a match of the year contender. Going back and looking at it a second time, which I did yesterday, it's so good. And Dragunov was amazing. He'll be on NXT next week, and then we'll be like, we're supposed to do what's next for Ilya Dragunov, which usually means somebody else he's going to be working with next time, and that should be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Jamber says, speaking of the Yips, do you know Bobby Fish was the umpire for the world's first baseball game?
I did know that because I'm a baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that.
Caden says, hey, Dijak, take those stupid sunglasses off. He will not because they make him look cool. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
Yeah. Of all the things Caden says, and Caden has said some stuff.
I know.
That is the most egregious.
So Carmelo Hayes defeated Noam Dar. All of the entourage decided to get involved. There was like a triple distraction, which is that like Trick got distracted by the two women in the entourage, and the referee got distracted by him being distracted. And then they were only distracting Trick so that Ora Mensa could sneak up behind Trick. And then Trick turned around and punched Ora Mensa in the face. And the ref was like, I should probably do something about that. I was like, no, ref, none of the people are illegal. They can kick the shit out of each other out. They're not affecting inside. Listen, use your discretion. Discretion.
Jonathan Discretion.
You need to discretion more. Be like Jonathan Discretion and be the best discretioner you can be. You are not discretion. You are not discretion properly.
Jonathan Discretion might be the funniest thing I've ever said. Best technical referee, one of the best technical referees in the world.
If not
Jonathan
the best.
Discretion. Yeah, very, very possible the best.
Yes. Anyway, so they throw out Trick Williams, but not the other people who obviously were going to attack him if he did not defend himself first. This is the first time I've ever defended Trick Williams. He was right to punch Ora Mensa in the face.
But he should be because he's face now. Yeah. And his reaction to this was great. He was like, hey, what the hell? It was like very authentic and well done. I actually really like that from him.
So the match happens, and then Ora Mensa and Noam Dar on the outside get run up on by Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee just long enough for Carmelo to hit a dive on Noam Dar, throw him back in the ring, and hit his jumping leg drop. Match is great. Noam Dar's excellent in the ring. Him and Carmelo, I low-key want them to run this back, and it's up, not right away, but because it does look like the real thing that Noam's going to be dealing with is Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee. So Carmelo can move on to other things, as we're about to see. I had the remote in my hand, Kate. It was pointed at the television. I was about to hit the power button and walk up from my living room to the second floor to do the podcast. I even saw the little thing on the bottom third where they tell you the copyright date or whatever. And then Carmelo Hayes is attacked from behind, and I was like, wait a minute. Who is this? And then the camera pans back far enough to realize that it's Baron Corbin, and I was like, no, it can't be everybody. We're open to all. Anyone from all over. Listen, Kate, what you are saying when you are saying anyone can do it is that it's not special when certain people do it. It's special when Mustafa Ali has a story that he created himself, which is he needs to be a champion now. And he has the match with Gunther. The crowd goes ape for him in Saudi Arabia. He loses, and he says, I got to be a champion. I can't be a champion on the main roster. It's not working. I'm going to go to NXT, and he's going to get involved with Wesley and Tyler Bate and have banger matches. That's special. But when anybody can come in, and that anybody is Baron Corbin, who, again, and I am never going to let this point go, on the main roster a few short months ago, a Hall of Famer told Baron Corbin to his face that he was a literal turd, incapable of being polished, and therefore not worth anybody's time. He makes people change the channel. And do you know what they have done in the intervening weeks since that promo was cut, again, on live television to Baron Corbin's face? They have done exactly zero to rehab the image of Baron Corbin that they presented to everyone on live television, that he is so bad at everything that he makes people change the channel and nobody cares about him.
Yeah, but I think there's a story with that. Because every time he's been linked to someone else, he's lost his way. And he wanted to go back to the Lone Wolf thing. So him going back to the Lone Wolf thing in NXT makes sense. I understand what you're saying about it taking away from Ali, but I will say at least it's two people that are free agents, so they are playing by their own rules.
Right.
And it is giving Baron Corbin something to do, which I like. I would like prefer my idea because it was my idea, so I would like it. I think he should have been Cameron Grimes as Heavy. I think there's such a fun story you could have had there. And both their personalities would be really great together. But it's just so rare that they actually play by their own rules that it made me happy that it was at least two free agents that are supposed to be able to swing.
At least it's two free agents, so maybe they actually, plan this out ahead of time. But the last thing we saw Corbin do on the main roster before coming to NXT was get squashed by Cameron Grimes. And now he's going to be in NXT, and it will be a Herculean effort by your NXT champion to defeat Baron Corbin in a one-on-one match.
So that's where I agree with you a lot, is that he should not have come down and immediately into a title picture. He should have come down, in my opinion, if I was doing this, I would have had him come down and cut a promo that said, whether I'm with Madcap Moss or JBL or whenever I'm entangled with these other people, it always ends up biting me in the ass.
Sure.
And in kayfabe, but a more clever way to say this, but when I was a Lone Wolf, I knew who I was at least. And I didn't give a crap what anybody said or thought about me. And you have him start to build his way back up, that I would be more for. So I don't love the spot that he came in. I don't love that he shared the spotlight with Ali, but I like that they're playing by their own rules, and I'm overall think it's a good move to kind of try and get him built back up. I don't think he needs it. Like, I think he actually has a really good spot on the main roster in that a heavy role or a guy that, like, his most entertaining matches are like when he gets to be the guy that slows the pace down with high flyers. There's a lot of people in NXT that fit that mold that could be really fun for him. But I feel like on the main roster, like a heavy or a mid-card guy, that's kind of in the middle there, or could be a tag team if you want to throw some alliances together. Like, I don't feel like he needs to come back down here if you just didn't consistently go out of your way to make him look so weak, because I don't think he's going to be probably like, no, and this is no offense to him, I just don't think he's going to be pushed to a world title picture.
Right.
Because I think they probably feel like he's beyond that in his career. So
no, I mean, yeah, that is true. They had JBL as his manager, saying that he was a wrestling god. You know, like, calling him a wrestling god for weeks now, and for weeks, 100 days, something like that. And then, like, he lost so much that they just had JBL say that he was worthless to his face. And if you're gonna do that, there's a place for that kind of promo. If your intentions are to immediately have that guy prove him wrong,
of course,
that's a really good path to a babyface turn of proving him wrong. But they didn't do any of that. And in fact, on the same day, I believe, that he was told that by JBL, he ran afoul of Cody Rhodes in the lead up to WrestleMania. So Cody Rhodes beat him up while wearing slacks and dress shoes.
Correct.
Because Corbin wasn't a threat, and not a threat to anybody.
My thinking is they were going to go back to, because they were doing so many of those stupid poker segments backstage. I was like, oh, they're just going to go back to Bad Luck Corbin. Like, they're just going to recycle that. I'm glad they didn't, because they had a specific moment in time where that worked for what they were doing. I was never like a super fan of it. You and I were, I think, on the same page of that, but it undeniably worked for most people. I just didn't like the way that it was treating people that didn't have money. But I'm glad they didn't do it. I'm wondering if that they were headed there, and then maybe he didn't want to do it again, or they didn't want to recycle it. I not once in my life have I been entertained by JBL on my screen in wrestling. Like never.
No,
on commentary
but
sometimes, in interviews sometimes, but like as a figure, he was past his prime when I started watching. I've never liked him as a manager. I have no need for JBL.
I haven't liked JBL since he was Bradshaw in the APA. I have not liked JBL at all. That's not the point. The point is they obviously hold him in very high esteem. And so they wouldn't have him say these things on the air if he was not a proxy for the company. As somebody said in a chat, when Jay Pringle, they also blamed Corbin for the cluster that WWE was in 2018, 2019, where they were like, the reason why the shows have sucked is Baron Corbin. Constable Corbin, who's been basically de facto general manager, doing whatever we told him to. It's all this guy's fault. And they, like, in kayfabe, in like some kind of weird worky shooty thing, where like the reason why the shows suck is Corbin and it's all his fault. Don't worry, we're getting rid of him. But no, you didn't. He doesn't write all the shows. You fucking do. So they've liked to come back to screwing this guy over. And if he cuts a promo that says, "I'm tired of being screwed over by people. I'm back here," he attacked Carmelo Hayes from behind, and then did his end of days to him. Do you have an opportunity to like build this guy up by beating other people who aren't Carmelo Hayes while they're beginning this feud with Carmelo Hayes? And then when he finally gets around to fighting Carmelo Hayes, he's got his confidence back. He's got the old lone wolf swagger back. Now he's not going to be such a pushover.
But you got to actually do the work to build this guy back up from the lowest point that you put him at.
Here's the thing. Adversity.
Yes.
That's it.
Board Dude 630 says, I'm down with Corbin NXT. Feeds into him on one of the lowest run of his life, so he came back down because that's the only time he was something. I'm fine with that if they actually have him say that. I'm not making that up for myself. They owe it to us to tell the story. It can't be just like, Baron Corbin is 6'8" and therefore very dangerous. No, you've booked him to be terrible for months. You have to do something about it.
In my head, Vic Joseph said that verbatim. He is 6'8" and therefore very dangerous. And Booker T's like, let me tell you something about this kid. He is tall. That's all I know about him because I don't watch this
Wagner,
product.
according to Booker T, is 300 pounds, and it's just not. Jambeard says, with free agents Baron and Ali being in the title pictures now, I'd be down for Gallus versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander if they came to NXT. Let's make that happen yesterday.
I think I need a Booker T and JR like switch products and see if they notice. Because JR sat there and told us somebody was a special referee that was not a special referee on a major pay-per-view. I don't think either of them watched the products that they commentate, so switch and find out if anything changes.
Luis says, now I need Cedric versus Tyler Bate. It's Backbreaker City, biatch.
Yeah.
Valab says, Corbin? Bruh. Corbin? Please keep NXT a brand where I see people I don't know and are only referred to by their gimmick and sour graps names. Ali is cool, but come on. Baron Corbin? Bruh.
Hey, that end of days look great tonight.
Well, it's a good move, and also, like, a guy as athletic as Carmelo Hayes is gonna take it really well. The problem is I haven't seen it done to anybody to win a match since 2021. Like, you got to do something with the guy to make him formidable before you just make up that he's formidable again.
I agree. I'm just saying we're off to a good start. It was a good looking end of days.
We'll see.
Remember how Drew McIntyre kicked out of it and they did nothing about it? And remember how you were right and I was wrong? I was like, no, it's good. And you were like, they're going to do nothing with it. And they proceeded to do nothing with it, even though they were feuding for 450 years.
The one guy who's ever kicked out of it is Drew McIntyre, and they did nothing with it. Do you remember how that whole feud started with him and Baron Corbin? Drew McIntyre was really pissed at Adam Pearce, so he stabbed the sword that is his mother into Adam Pearce's desk. And then Baron Corbin and Riddick Moss, Madcap Moss,
the traveling desk, remember?
Stole the desk and somehow got it across the country with the sword still in it.
With the sword still in it. Very
so they could start a thing. But do you remember why Drew McIntyre was so pissed at Adam Pearce? It was because somebody pulled strings backstage to make sure that Drew McIntyre wasn't in the Battle Royal to determine the next challenger to Roman Reigns. And they never followed up on that. We never figured out why anybody pulled any strings or how that happened. This is a company that does not do anything right. Ever. And so you'll forgive me if I have low expectations for the runs of both Baron Corbin and, sadly, Mustafa Ali in this company. So
I'm not saying I have high expectations.
Right.
I'm saying that the end of days that he executed tonight looked very good. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, this is the other thing. The board dude, you're so right. The Deep Six is awesome and should finish 80% of the people that he faces.
Yes.
And then if he has to turn it up, those are the guys that gets the end of days, because nobody should kick out of that. Again, like one guy did it and it was Drew. Listen, nobody remembers that because they didn't make a big deal of it. So now you can retcon. Now you can retcon that, and now nobody kicks out of it. Honestly, I do feel like a lot of bigger heel type dudes should have two finishers. One that finishes most guys, and the other one in case they need it. And that one should be like dropping a neutron bomb. Like nobody kicks out of that. I feel like that should be a standard thing for big guy heels, but See, Dr. Mayhem says I'm going rogue, the Pundertaker. We never did that, but somehow Jambeard says Littlefoot Dar, which I guess is a rock band bun.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Jambeard's right. They were doing the sequel to The Sword in the Stone. Sword in the Desk, Revenge of the Son of Psychopath. Yep. It was, yep. Now somebody sent, I don't know who it was, but somebody sent in a super chat. Says, favorite of ice cream? Tiger. And anyone who likes Tyrus, their favorite flavor is that ranch dressing ice cream. Which I do think probably is Denise Salcedo's favorite ice cream.
Well, let's not do that to Denise. I don't want to put her and Tyrus in the same.
I really
like Denise.
I'm not saying ipso facto. If your favorite ice cream is the ranch dressing, therefore you are also a fan of Cyrus. I'm just saying she likes ranch dressing like an unhealthy amount.
It is true. That is extremely accurate.
And perhaps then she would like that. Jake Salazar says Reg is already going to be sour, even having to watch NXT, but to sit through 2 hours, my God, that would be epic.
Yeah, we might have to save that for when you're here. That feels wrong to do that without you.
Okay. Wait a second. Jambeard says congrats to both Tay and Sammy and Alexa and Ryan Cabrera.
Yeah, December baby's on the way.
Yeah. Alexa's like, listen, nobody's using me on TV. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my downside to have a baby. I don't know.
She was very adamant about the fact that she was not on hiatus, and I would say she is in fact
now
at least on a 9-month hiatus. Yes.
Okay. Coy Stalling says Kate's thoughts on an Orange Cassidy basically saying he wants Zack Sabre Jr. at the scrum if we can't get him versus Danielson. Also watch Road 2. They recap stats recovery.
Yes, I saw that. It was fantastic. The thing is, I definitely have an interest in a Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy match because as someone who went down a very deep Zack Sabre Jr. rabbit hole, he's not just like the best technical wrestler in the world now. He's like the best wrestler in the world. His storytelling has been so great. And the way I could go on like a 20-minute rant about how in any art form, if you are an expert in technique, and Zack Sabre Jr. has been training since he was 14, you can tell a story so much more effortlessly because you're not thinking about moves in the same way. I would love to see a story with him and Orange Cassidy. They owe me Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson so much. And in ROH, they're also building to Zack Sabre Jr. versus Samoan Joseph, as he called him, like TV champion versus TV champion. And I do want to see that more. I would love to see a Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy match. But they listen to me, Tony, Anthony Khan. See me? I don't know what you're doing watching an NXT review, Tony Khan, but assuming you are. You owe me Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson. They're both healthy. They're the two best technical wrestlers in the world. Jonathan Gresham, who we mentioned before, also in that conversation, obviously. I don't get that at Forbidden Door. I'm pissed. Just saying.
Zack Sabre Jr. versus Azúcar Rocky Romero this week on Ring of Honor.
Yep. Very much looking forward to that.
And Jambeer says you have to pick one. 1 year-long Jeff Jarrett versus Jericho feud, or all of Tyrus's NWA run. Well, listen, like they could do it. Doesn't mean I'm going to watch any of it. Like it's the hard part is where you put Jeff Jarrett and Jericho in a feud with somebody I like, where I like have to watch that. Like no, I just would turn it off.
Oh, if I had to choose between those two, I would say Tyrus because I just don't really watch NWA. So you're idiots if you keep the title on them, but it's not a product I watch. And it's largely because of that. There's some good talent at NWA. But I actively watch AEW. So
also you'd have to do like the Clockwork Orange, like taping my eyelids open to get me to watch anything of NWA. So, you know,
it's so
I'm really good at daydreaming with my eyes open. Like I could just be like, what, like there's AWO and like soft focus, and I'm like, puppy dogs, you know, like it'd be very easy for me to do that.
It's just so sad what that brand was in the 80s and what Pumpkin Man has turned it into.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know the NWA name they were like, you're available to license. Let me put it on all these different promotions. But this is egregious.
Okay, so wait. Pumpkin Man slander / other. Oh, we've already done that one. But Tom Polly says, easy FMK, Tyrus, Eddie Kingston, Peter Avalon. That's very, very easy.
Wait, say it again.
Easy FMK, Tyrus, Eddie Kingston, Peter Avalon.
Oh, I don't know. Why don't you throw me a bigger softball? Gonna K Tyrus. Gonna marry Eddie Kingston, partner. I'm gonna F Peter Avalon, as is the gimmick for well over a year now.
Right. Jambeard, of course, just trolling now with Forbidden Doors. Yes, J versus Double J.
Why are you so? That's so mean.
Just
why are you giving me heat today, Jambeard?
I don't know. Jake Salazar says, I think we need to start respecting Wrestler of the Year, Tyrus. And as Luis points out, he says, this is the same MF super chatting Bree-woo every Wednesday. So, you know.
I don't consider Tyrus a wrestler. He can't wrestle? I don't really consider him a wrestler.
Shaytown Spurs says, NXT, just when I think I'm in, they pull me back out. That's very true.
This is a better episode today, though.
Yeah. I mean, it honestly, it was. And then I was just like, no, not everybody is invited to the party. Just one guy I love at a time. Bring in the guy I only kind of like occasionally in a different time. It waters everything down.
It doesn't.
Do you know like the hottest clubs? Not everybody can get in. That's what makes them so hot.
I think you got a long way to go before NXT is the hottest club in town.
They're making it better by only allowing in the real VIPs. That's Mustafa Ali. Now all of a sudden, just Baron Corbin shows up and goes, "Here's my cover charge," and I let him in. It's crazy.
I don't know. You got the Toxic Lounge.
That's down the street, actually. So only the teenagers go there. Meet Norma says, "I'm not late. I got exactly here when I planned to. Thanks to those that acknowledge meet." CO says, "Fave memory, easy. Duck Hudson, the start of it all." It's true. It's true. It's the first time in a very long time we did not do puns. You have to come up with a good pun for next week to like get all the chats up
we will. We also almost went 2 hours already, so I'm not killing myself over that.
Orion Ben says 400 plus. Congrats. A favorite moment, Alex trying to make sense with Apollo. So wait, he sees a vision while at a diner and then goes and beats up the dude who hasn't done anything yet, and everyone's in there. It's like, good for you, buddy. And then he just like he also sees a vision of a bunch of people beating up a dude in an alley and goes and beats them all up. And then like that dude's like, thanks. What were they thinking?
The phrase diner vigilante is like a top 10 sour grapsism.
Sten Hogg, maybe the loudest either of us have laughed on this thing.
That was a big one.
Yeah, it's very good. And Ricardo, still no surname, says Kate Harris looked great. It's
Thank
true.
you
It does.
so much.
We have lots of jukeboxes.
We do.
Let's start off one with Tiffany. Right at the top, Chris Mueller says, Tiffany sings "Where Are the Champions" by Queen.
I'm in.
Okay, here we go.
I've paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face. So many ads pop up on these things. It's really annoying. But I've come through. I mean, to go on and on and on and on. But we are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, because we are the champions of the world. Toodles.
It's true. Here we go. Trailer Park Boys. Trailer Park Boys, Regal to sing Kitty Man by Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys.
There once was a cat with a hungry belly. The name of the cat was Whiskers Jelly. His throat was dry and his bowl was bare. Meow, me furry cats, meow. Soon may the kitty man come with birds and mice and some tasty nums. One day when the critters come, we'll eat till our bellies are full. Well, Jelly got his boys and they gathered round. They scattered seeds from the stack they found, in the hopes that the seeds they spread on the ground would bring small critters a boot. Soon may the kitty man come with birds and mice and some tasty nums. When the critters come, we'll eat till our bellies are full. When the gang was bored and the morale had dipped towards the seeds grew catnip. They all sniffed and they snacked, they all got ripped, they all had a meow that night. Man in the mask, I miss you.
Tony D singing Voltaire's When You're Evil, please. Don't know this one, but Feeling Dreepy requested it, so it could be anything. This is who now? What? Tony D singing it? Okay. Here we go.
When the devil is too busy and death's a bit much, they call on me by name, you see, for my special touch. To the gentlemen, I'm Misfortune. To the ladies, I'm Surprise. But call me by any name, anyway, it's all the same. I'm the fly in your soup. I'm the pebble in your shoe. I'm the pea beneath your bed. I'm the bump on every head. I'm the peel on which you slip. I'm the pin in every hip. I'm the thorn in your side, makes you wiggle and writhe. It's so easy when you're evil. This is the life, you see. The devil tips his hat to me. I do it all because I'm evil, and I do it all for free. Your tears are all the pay I'll ever need a gabagoo.
Saw one in here earlier. Tiffany sings That's Not My Name by the Ting Tings.
Not a lie. The Ting Tings. Both Tings.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal in concert. Unbelievable live show. The Ting Tings.
Oh, Ting and Ting.
Ting 1 and Ting 2.
Mm-hmm.
4-letter word just to get me along. It's a difficulty, and I'm biting on my tongue. And I keep stalling, not keeping it together. People around gotta find something to say now. Holding back every day the same. Don't want to be a loner. Listen to me. Oh, no. I never say anything at all. But with nothing to consider, they forget my name. They call me Hell. They call me Stacy. They call me her. They call me Jane. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. They call me Quiet, but I'm a riot. Mary Jo Lisa? Always the same. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. Toodles.
Toodles, indeed. Okay. Jambeard wants Darby to sing the Pokemon theme. Okay, here we go.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide, teach Pokemon to understand the power that's inside you, Malachi Black. Gotta catch 'em all. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny, Pokemon. Oh, you're my best friend, Brody King. In a world we must defend, Pokemon gotta catch 'em all. A heart so true, our courage will pull us through. You teach me, and I'll teach you, Buddy Matthews. Ooh, ooh, Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all, yeah. Malachi Black.
It's just like 8 months ago at this point, and it's so great.
It's yeah.
So
It's almost
long
a year.
ago.
It's almost a year. Yep. Nope. It's a thing. It just will always be there. Gallus to sing Black Betty by Ram Jam, requested by Jambeard.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
Oh, Black Betty, Bambalam, oh, Black Betty, Bambalam, oh, Black Betty had a child, Bambalam. Damn thing gone wild. She said, I'm going out of my Bambalam, and then get him blind. Oh, said Black Betty, Bambalam, oh, Black Betty, Bambalam. Hey, Black Betty, Bambalam, oh, Black Betty, Bambalam. She really gets me high. You know, that's no lie, Bambalam. She sure rocks steady, Bambalam. She always ready, Bambalam. Oh, Black Betty, Bambalam, oh, Black Betty, Bambalam. Got it. Gallus boys on top.
Okay, where is it? Tiffany to sing "We Put the Spring in Springfield" from The Simpsons.
You could close down Moe's or Quickie Mart and nobody would care. But the heart and soul of Springsteen of Springfield is her Mason Terrier. Where the sauce on your steak, where the cheese in your cake. We put the spring in Springfield. Where the lace on your nightgown, the point after a touchdown. Yes, we put the spring in Springfield. Where that extra little spice that makes existence extra nice. A giddy little thrill at a reasonable price. Our only major quarrels is your total lack of morals. Our skimpy costumes ain't so bad. They seem to entertain your dad. The gin and martini, the clams in your linguine. We keep the boing in Springfield. We remember our first visit. The service was quite exquisite. Why, Joseph, I had no idea. Come on now. Your ads. Come on now. You are working here. Without we have had no fun since March of 1961. To shut them down now would be twisted. We heard this place existed. Where the highlights in your hairdo. The extra arms on Vishnu. So don't take the boing. We won't take the side whistle. Let's keep the crash in Springfield. Toodles. Crushed it.
Sorry. It won't take the slide whistle. Oh, that's good stuff. In honor, Matthew Plus, in honor of the Europa League final tomorrow, I'd like Lord Regal to sing Roma, Roma, Roma by Antelado Venditti. I don't know what that is, but here we go. William Regal singing this. Here we go. Oh my. I don't like you very much, Matthew Plus.
Roma, 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 core destacita, unico grande amore de tanta e tanta gente. Chef high suspira, Roma, 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 las casia canta, jesav no serata seguro, sostanzimile josai fale casio caltignoli, Voma Roma zibella, siltuzi pinci io, giala calado, core mio.
I'm not singing it in English. That's what you get. Sending me friggin' Italian songs. Draws wants Tony D singing Stand by REM. That's what you're going to get.
Stand in the place where you live, now face north. Think about direction, wonder why you haven't before. Now stand in the place where you were, now face west. Think about the place where you live, wonder why you haven't before. If you are confused, check with the sun. Carry a compass to help you along. Your feet are going to be on the ground. Your head is there to move you around. So stand in the place where you live, now face north. Think about direction, wonder why you haven't before. Now stand in the place where you were, now face west. Think about the place where you live, wonder why you haven't before. And so on and so forth, gabagool.
Okay.
I like trying to sing and so on and so forth.
Louis wants Cody Rhodes singing Titanium. I don't have a Cody Rhodes impression. Like, I get it. You can be like, in honor of Cody. That's what we're going to do. Sorry.
Shoot me down, but I won't fall. You can just do his dumb promo cadence.
In honor of Cody Rhodes, this is Linda singing Titanium.
You shouted out, but I can't hear a word you say. I'm talking loud, but not saying much. I'm criticized, but all your bullets ricochet. You know, I like that Ricochet. I think he's
I love the Ricochet.
talented. We love the Ricochet. But his bullets are ricocheting, and I feel like it's you shoot me down, but I get up. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, fire away. Ricochet again with the Ricochet. You take your aim, fire away, fire away. You know, you don't hear about much anymore. Super Crazy. He used to be everywhere.
It's true.
The Super Crazy used to be everywhere. Now it's all about the Ricochets and the Phoenixes.
True.
The Phoenixes, the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Reyes Mysterio, both of them. There was the senior,
Vikingos.
I think, and now there's a junior. Mm-hmm. There was the Vikingo, but then there's the Hijo de Vikingo. Yeah, think about all them, but all we're talking about here is ricochets, but I miss all of them. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. It's true. I am. I'm made out of titanium. Also, I know you kicked my ass all over the place, nearly broke my arm, but anytime you want to fight me, I'm down for it because you're not man enough to make me tap out. You're only man enough to cause me so much pain that my body involuntarily shuts down. I'm winning this feud. I'm Cody Rhodes.
Credit to Matthew Plus. The idea of an open challenge to someone who only destroys you is hysterical because I want to watch you get your ass kicked.
Jambier says a Cody Rhodes impression could just be crying. Right? Is that what
you need to wear a suit?
Listen, I'm far past my suit wearing days. What? I have to think of that one to Electric Mayhem. Okay. So wait, how many we have here? Okay. Oh, these are all still me. Dang it! I gave you two of yours too fast.
You did.
Let's
cut it off here because we are well over, and I am very tired.
Okay. Well, let me do.
No. I mean, like no more chats coming in.
No more chats. Yeah. No more chats. Okay. No more chats. None. Okay. So I got 2 Darbys, 2 Linders, a Regal, and a Tony
baseball cards.
Yeah, no. Okay. Here we go.
I'll trade you a Linder for a Ken Griffey Jr.
We're gonna do. Here we go. We're gonna. These are good. We're gonna do. Darby, Linder, Regal, Tony D, Darby Linder. Okay. All right. Darby sings "What I Like About You" by the Romantics, as requested by T Electric Mayhem. Okay. What I like about you, you hold me tight. Tell me I'm the only one. You want to come over tonight. Yeah. Keep on whispering in my ear. Tell me all the things that I want to hear because it's true. That's what I like about you, Malachi Black. What I like about you, you really know how to dance. When you go up, down, jump around, think about true romance. Brody King. Keep on whispering in my ear. Tell me all the things that I want to hear because it's true. That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you, Buddy Matthews. Okay. Linda singing Big Pimpin'.
We do need Sour Graps trading cards, 1 lieutenant photo.
That's true. We've got to have those. Here we go. Okay, wait. Linda's singing this. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. This is hard. Oh, wait. No, I don't want to do one of the. There we go. Okay.
You know I thug 'em, fuck 'em, love 'em, leave 'em, because I don't friggin' need 'em. Take 'em out the hood, keep 'em looking good, but I don't friggin' need 'em. First time they fuss, I'm breezing, talking about what's the reasons. I'm a pimp in every sense of the word. Bitch better trust and believe 'em. In the cut where I keep 'em, till I need a nut, then till I need to beat the guts. Then it's beep beep, and I'm picking 'em up. Let 'em play with the pipe in the truck. Many chicks want to put jiggers, fists, in cuffs. Divorce him and split his bucks just because you got good head. I'm a break bread so you can be living it up. I part with nothing. Y'all be frontin'. Me give my heart to a woman? Not for nothing. Never happen. I'll be forever mackin'. Hot as cold as assassins. I got no passion. I got no patience and I hate waiting. Ho, get your ass in. Let's ride. We doing big pimping. We spending cheese. I do like a nice provolone, maybe a sharp cheddar.
Oh my God, delightful.
Sharp cheddars. You can't go wrong with a nice sharp cheddar. Check them out now. Big Pimpin' on BLA Deeds. I don't know what that spells. Blads. I don't know what a blad is. We're doing Big Pimpin' up in NYC. It's just that Jiggaman, Pimpsy, and BUNB. I don't know what a bunba is. Do you know what a bunba is? I don't know what a bunba.
I get them on my toes sometimes. You get the
bun. No, not a bunion. And I was thinking also it's not a bunt cake, a bunba. I don't know what.
I love a good bunt cake. Are you rapping about bunt cakes?
No, I don't know if Jay-Z was. Someone should send us to therapy, honestly.
Us and Von Wagner.
Okay. Okay. Then we get Regal singing "I Ain't Missing You" by 2 Excalibur from Ricardo. Oh, this can't be it. Is it? Oh well, I'm just gonna sing the one that you sent me. I'm pretty sure that's not it, but we'll see it. When you left, I thought I'd fall apart. You left me for dead with a broken heart. You never called, not even a letter. But since you've been gone, things got so much better. I ain't missing you. I'm not missing you. I ain't missing you. I ain't kissing you. I ain't missing you. You're alone. You're not coming back, baby. You see now, baby, I'm not the one crying. Outside you're smiling, but inside you're dying. I got a new girl. I'm so glad I met her. Because now that you're gone, things are so much better. I ain't missing you. I'm not missing you. I ain't missing you. I ain't kissing you. I ain't missing you. You're alone. You're not coming home, baby. Okay, good. So the Bun B is a rapper. Okay.
Yeah, but Linda doesn't know that.
How would Linda know that? No, she wouldn't. That's the point. Tom LaValle wants Tony D doing Dell's speech from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Here we go.
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. You also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me because I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
There you go. Gabagools. Okay. Linda singing. Darby and Tiffany together now as a duet singing "Menomina" by the Muppets, and you just do the doo-doo to do's. Can you do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Do.
Menomina.
Dooby-doo-doo.
Menomina.
Do.
Menomina. Menomina.
Doo-doo-be-doo-be-doo.
This isn't fair to you because you don't know the song. It's
I
very
don't
simple.
know this, and I know my Muppets.
No, it's very early Muppets. Menomina. Do 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 do. Menomina. Do 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 do. Menomina. Do 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 do.
Then you do Tiffany doing it. I got nothing.
I know. I should have been doing it, but it's fine. Linda, it's Electric Mayhem. This is going to test all of my improvisational skills. Linda singing Mambo No. 5, but replaces the women's names with more of her dalliances. A little bit of Gordon in my life, as an example. So here we go. This is gonna. Here we go. One, two, three, four, five. Everybody in the car, come on, let's ride. to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice. But I really don't want beer bust like I had last week. I must stay deep because talk is cheap. I like Minoru, Gordon, Dusty,
Of course.
and Peter. And as I continue, they're getting sweeter. So what can I do? I really beg you, Lord. To me, flirting is like a sport. Anything fly, it's all good. Let me dump it. Please set it in the trumpet. A little bit of Minoru in my life, a little bit of Gordon Lightfoot by my side, a little bit of Dusty Rhodes, all I need, a little bit of Paul Orndorff's what I see, a little bit of, I'm not proud of this one, Hulk Hogan in the sun, a little bit of Minoru again all night long, a little bit of Jessica's back. What? Hold on.
Minoru again.
Again. Well, listen, it was twice.
My goodness.
On 2 non-consecutive occasions, like Grover Cleveland. Also, a little bit of Grover Cleveland. Here I am. A little bit of you makes me your man. There we go.
What are we doing?
I don't know. You paid money. We got to do it.
That's true.
Thanks everybody for this. Again, I will be out next week. I don't know what the hell was going to happen on NXT.
Nor do I.
Other than this battle royal that we all know TL's going to win. So, yeah. We'll talk about it then, I suppose. See you later. What do we say?
We say
everything
everything sucks, and we say toodles.
And also, keep it cool, Gabagools. It's been so long.